Hi, Susan Blue Robot here from susanbluerobot.com. I'm here today with another help video using Make the Cut and Pop-Up Card Studio. I had put this card that I'd made for my son's girlfriend on my blog, and people want to know how I did this idea. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll give you another tip as well. I'm not going to do a cat, I'm going to do a robot. So we'll get started. And if you notice that the letters are only held up with these two anchors here, and I'll give you a tip of how to get this perfect. So we'll get started. On a plane of 1, I'll bring in my actual picture for the middle. And I'll start with him. Making big enough. Now when I bring him in, I'll be using a shadow of him and then taking him, when I've got the right size, over to make the cut. So I think that's about the size that I want him, so I'll do a shadow of him. I'll do it at 2mm and I'll go accept. So what I do now is cut that. I go copy. I open a Make the Cut file and I go paste in place. Now I know this is the perfect size for my project I'm going to be working on. So now I can get rid of the actual robot bit, but at the moment I'll just leave that there for show, so for design purposes. Now at this point of time, I'd make sure you can go by here and make sure this bottom line is a horizontal line, and it is. We'll just zoom in here. I don't like leaving that on because it annoys me. But you can see that this orange line here, so making sure that it's a horizontal line, I'll go back under here and click on that. I turn mine off. Now what I want to do is I put that on the bottom, and my robot moves. So at the moment I just click him up because I'm not going to use him. He's only for design purposes. Now what I do is, he's all set in place except I will go hit the space bar to go to the bottom plane, or you can go over here and click to the bottom plane. And I want it on a plane of 0, on a plane of 1 inch. Now I'm going to have my words at the front about 1 inch high, and I'm going to have these anchors back here at sort of coming out far enough so I don't have to put the robot on the actual platform of the lettering. So here's what I do. In this photo, I used hearts coming out from the back. This is the same principle, but I'm going to use gears. Now, first off, I know that the file I want is not in here, because these are all the TrueType fonts that you have in your system. If you don't, like Make the Cut, if you don't have it in your system, you click on this TT+. I click on this. I click on this. And it will come up, and you go to where you've got other fonts that are not installed in your system. And I have them in a folder called Unzipped Fonts. Now Susan Blue Robot Fonts. So I click on that and go open. Now this will come in and it'll be blue. It has been added to there, and you go OK. So now what I want to do is I want to find the gears that I have in it and double click. That adds them to, so if I go back here and bring them in, whoops, pick that up, bring it over. And I think there's one more gear that I wanted to add there, so hang on, we'll go back to this. We'll find the gear that I want. This is the same as principle as typing in, but I don't know what numbers these are on the keyboard, so I just double click them and I bring them in. Okay, so we're going to work with those three gears. I hold Control key down, use the right mouse key, and I can bring it up and roll it forward so we can show you what I'm doing. Then we hang this one off the edge a bit. Overlap the pieces. This is the important thing to do, is you overlap your pieces so they've got enough grasp, and you have them far enough away from your picture. Now this, it's a bit close here, but if I do a mirror, that would just be about right. So what I'm going to build is enough anchors coming out here. So if I do a copy of that, copy, paste in place, and this is the same principle with the hearts. It's just that I've done the hearts now. I wanted to do something else if I had to demo. And you can shrink them a bit. Just as long as they're hanging out, welded enough together, and you still see that you've got room between your robot. So with them, now this is hanging over the back of your card, and it's out sort of far enough so the 1-inch letter will be in front of the robot cut. There'll be enough room. I'll show I haven't got it up now. Now, with that, I might take these out a bit further here. Now, in this case, yes, I'm doing my anchors first, but there's a regular tip as to getting shaped anchors. Instead of trying to struggle with the anchors afterwards if you're using patterns and things. So what I'm going to do is weld them together. I'll come back and I'll just clean them up, the extra little dots here. These extra little dots that aren't really needed, I'll clean them up with an eraser. Now what I do is I do a copy of that, paste in place, mirror that, and up my snapping, and then I'll just arrow it across with my arrow keys so I know it's in exactly the same alignment with the one on this side. And I zoom around. I might have taken that a bit further, so I bring it back a bit with my arrow keys. I'll take that back down because now I just want to take it out ever so slightly. Okay, so now we have our two anchors leading to the back. Now what we do is we do a snip. And what we do is come from the back here. We come all the way across the back and see where it goes to the dotted line, we know that's the back of the card. So now that is just now anchored to the back of the card. So if I was to go, I know I keep showing the print preview, but it's to explain that you can double check it and double check it each time. My anchors are now at the back of the card, the robot's at the bottom only so far. Okay, so fine. Now I hit the spacebar key and it brings it to the front plane and we work out where it's going to be. Working out, we take it back till it overlaps it's overlapping by about that much. That's what we want. Now we bring in the wording. We know this is an inch, but we'll just bring the wording in an inch and I'll show you what I do. So we pick a font. I like to pick a font that can be scattered and overlapped with each other. So I bring in my happy birthday. Go back to the select tool, otherwise it'll try to bring it in again and again and again. Been there, done that. Okay, so now we bring it in roughly about the width we want. Remembering that we're going to split these apart and overlap them and twist them and fix them up a bit. Sorry about that. Now, what we do is we split these and we can now twist them. By double clicking on them, you get the arrows at the side. I'm holding the Control T down to get more control over how far they turn. So I'm just overlapping them so they're all got control of each other when they pop up, because they're only going to be joined at the two ends, at the HA and the AY at the end. The others all just need the structure together to be a line of words that are all connected so that they pop up as well. So what I'm doing is twisting these so they're all different angles. Now I know that they're all overlapping. The H isn't really, and neither is the A and the P. They've got to be enough overlapping so they look good. They still look like letters, but they're going to hold up the strength of pushing each letter up. So now I select them all, I go center, and I go to the bottom plane. Now, also what I do here is I make sure that they're all on the bottom by clicking this last button. Oh, yeah, I forgot to say this. Oh, yeah, I need to do that, then I need to crop. So all I'm doing is cropping. That's not cropping. Need to crop. All I need to do is crop the bottom at the moment. So when we're cropping, I use the exclusive rectangle and I go from underneath. The reason being is I don't want to crop the top letters at the moment. I want to make sure that I catch each letter in the happy birthday and crop off a bit of each letter. Now what I do is I drop them to the bottom of the plane and let it complain to me. Make sure they're in the center and I bring this up. What I'm doing is bringing it up over the height of an inch. Well, that's funny. Let's just go back here for a minute. Hold the D key down. Go back here. Wow, these letters were very high. This plane that these anchors are on are no, it's 1 inch. Okay, we'll go back to the happy. Oh, that's strange. It is just over the inch, now. So this is just over the inch, and what we do now, first off, is we still need to make these welded. So we select all of these. We go weld. Now that's fair enough. This side will be popped up with this anchor, and this side will be popped up with that anchor. But you need something in between here, so this idea works. So what I'll do is I'll bring back in that font that I was using, the gears, and we'll bring in a font by double clicking on it so I don't have to remember what letter of the alphabet it was. And we put a gear in the middle here. Because if you notice on this photo, I put a heart in to make it a solid line all the way across. So we connect all of them, we select them all, and we go weld. So now we got the happy, the gear, and the birthday. Now what we do is we now gotta etch them along so we can see what's going to happen. Right. Now we go, hold the control key down so I can bring this into your view, and we'll zoom it over a bit. We go up to this level by holding the D key down. We'll bring this to the we'll hold this and bring it to the very top. Now, what we need to do is we need to now get the cropping tool, holding it under the anchors, and we go up till we get that lines, the dotted lines. So now we're at the same plane on the anchors as this here. So at this point of time, if you do have a shape like this, you can just go along. I think I'll take that last one out and then recrop it. Right, that looks a bit better. Okay, so now what we do is we go back to the lettering by rights. Oh, okay, so we just grab these. We've just cropped it back further, but that's easy fixed. This is what we do. We grab this. No. Grab this. It's not on the same plane as where we cropped it to, so we'll go cut this. Hold the control shift and we just go back a little bit. So now we go paste in place, and now they're both on the same plane. The front of the anchors and the wording's on the same plane. Now what we do is we tweak so the letters, the two letters on this side are, if you see that they're with that plane, and we tweak this one. I know it's a lot of tweaking, but it's well worth it when you don't end up having to have anchors everywhere. So the A's, I'll still bring this up a little bit. The A's and the Y on this end, and the H and the A on this end will be the cropping bit. Now what we do is we make sure that's on the bottom plane. Yes. And we go crop. We go from above the H and the A down to, we get the dotted line and we go click. And the same on this side. Click. So all that we've done is trimmed the end two letters that are touching the plane. And now by rights, if we now look at the print preview, we have our anchor points connected to the lettering, even if it's only on the two ends, to the back. The robot is on the bottom plane, so they're all, both the picture and the wording are on the same plane. It's just that they're out far enough with anchors on the ends so that they don't intrude on the picture. So then what I do now is I would go to the panic button. I call it my panic button. And I put me anchors on the back of the robot, which that's just normal. I don't want it on the top. I think I'll put him on the shoulder. No, I have to go to that plane first. Come on. We go D key to this plane. Now I've already taken that robot over, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to cut that, so I'm just left with the shadow, and I go cropping tool. I just left that there so you could see what I was working with, not just a shadow. And I do that lots with my designing. I have the whole picture there. Then I take it over to make the cut so I know it's perfectly fine. And I delete it from the front one, from the make the cut one. Now we go. And you don't have to worry that normally I would have had those on the exact same plane, but it doesn't really matter. Because there you go. Now what we have, we take the plane off. We have our words from the bottom plane, our robot from the bottom plane, and we do a snapshot of that. It won't look as much because I've taken the robot away now. So I hope this answered the questions of how I had the wording and the things on the bottom plane. Tips about the anchoring. If they're going to be patterns and stuff, I normally put them on first and use the cropping tool. The cropping tool for me is the most used tool I've ever done, because even if I go over the back, I can come back and come to the inner part. So this has been, I'll let this come. This has been Susan Blue Robot from susanbluerobot.com. If you'd like to purchase Make the Cut or Pop-Up Card Studio, you'll find a link on my blog, and click from there to support my blog. And thanks for coming to visit this quick help video, how I did this idea. You got to visualize that this was all the same. Instead of the gears, I used hearts on this. I used the same font because that was the sort of font that can scatter and overlap and don't look out of place. And also make sure that you've got something between the letters, and it doesn't have to be this happy birthday all as one word. You just put something in between it. So thanks for visiting, and I'll see you on the next video. I hope people are getting good ideas and tips from these videos. I like to hear from people. And thanks you for visiting. Bye for now. Bye.